We don't need immigrants and anchor.
They bought into the white supremacy crap because that's only applied to blacks. Facts. I totally agree. Check this out. And I'm gonna keep. I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, but I just want to make sure people understand what I'm saying. Black Americans, slave descendants on this land, or non-slave, or people. Let me just say, people that have ties from 1865 and back. We are the only group of people from back then until now that have not submitted to white supremacy. We the only ones in the world. You can name any group of people, maybe except what Kim Jong Un at. There's a couple other people that have submitted, but for the most part, majority of these people submitted that come over to this country that have submitted to white supremacy. And they want to be like them. So they want to do the same things what white mom and white daddy do to black folks, right? But it just ain't going to work like that. Because we ain't really allow them to do us like that. And most definitely, we're not going to allow those people to do us like that. You feel me? Them folks, people be taking up for the Hispanic, right? And this is something new, and I mentioned this in another video. But they'll speak. I remember John Leguizamo. Was it him? It was him, somebody. But anyway, they was talking about the first civil rights movement, and they was saying how the Mexicans were the first civil rights movement. I'm like, no, that ain't true. Looked it up, it was true. They were the first people to have do like a civil rights movement. But you know what type of civil rights movement these people had? They wanted to be white. And it was a brother I was listening to last night. He was speaking about it too, so he added more to it that I forgot the other day when I was mentioning. But when they was fighting for their civil rights, they was fighting to be classified as white. They wasn't fighting for no rights for us. They wasn't fighting for no rights for everybody because we wanted everybody to be equal with us when we were fighting for civil rights. Them people only wanted to be white. They only want to be classified as white. How can we help a group of people that want to be looked at as white? They was this close. They was this close to being white, but they wasn't. Because they got that African blood in them, that nigga blood in them, and they mad and that bothers them. That bothers them. Because guess what? Even the white folks don't look at them like that. Even the white, think about it, even worse. These people voted for Trump, knowing Trump wanted to send them folks back to where they come from, and they voted against them, they own kind. Think how strong that is. They voted against their own kind, and they expect me to feel sorry. Don't make sense. But yeah, man, they wanted to be white, man. Lulac, I think it's called Lulac or something. Y'all look that up, Lulac. Because they wanted that. When they did the Metal La Raza out there where they from, they really was dead serious about that. So what can you do to a group of people that think they white? And then I'm gonna close on this. And I brought up the prison system. Even with the prison system, they link up with the Aryan Nation. When they want to go against the nigga, they gonna link up with the Aryan Nation in prison. Crazy.
To delineate means to clearly describe, outline, or portray something with precision, either verbally in writing or through visual representation. It is commonly used to define boundaries, set forth detailed plans, or sketch outlines. Key applications include mapping, outlining, arguments, and defining specific, detailed characteristics. What is the delineation of race? According to Stephen Satras of Clemson University, there are two main racial divides in the United States. The first is the black-white delineation. The second racial delineation is the one between whites and everyone else, with whites being narrowly construed and everyone else being called people of color. Why delineation? The term delineation means to define or Mark boundaries precisely, reflecting the movement's goal to draw clear lines around this specific identity for recognition and political action. Context and debate. The movement highlights ongoing discussions within the Black community about identity, belonging, and who truly benefits from programs aimed at Black advancement. It often sparks debate, with supporters seeing it as necessary self-determination, and critics questioning its potential for division or its historical claims. Key concepts and goals. Ancestry and identity. It stresses that not all Black people share the same lineage or historical trauma. FBAs have a unique narrative tied to chattel slavery in America. Reparations. A core driver is establishing clear criteria for reparations, arguing only descendants of U.S. slavery should qualify, as their experience was a distinct enterprise.
It's been going on for a while, and I'm always seeing the African American plight that's going on, right? At the same time, with that plight going on, they expect even Africans to join in on the battle that they have going on in America.
Yeah.
But they don't even identify as African. So
No,
why would they take on the banner of helping African Americans?
Because it's the same.
Family, we have never depended on fleers to fight for us. You niggas fled. Why would we depend on African immigrants or Caribbean immigrants who fled the fight in their homeland to fight for us here? What? You fled your homeland. We know you niggas ain't fighters. Because when it was smoke back in your homeland, you ran. We've never depended on y'all to fight for us. We knew that back on the plantation. When y'all were claiming that Africa shit, and ain't one African ship sailed over them seas to come fight. Ain't one African ship make it over them seas to fight. We knew right then and there, them niggas ain't coming. And they ain't coming for no fight. They ain't coming for no smoke. Okay, what is he talking about? Oh, y'all be wanting us to fight for y'all. Nigga, we know you not a fighter. You're a fleer. What we want from Black immigrants, all we say is, hey, just don't interfere with what we got going on. If we out here fighting for reparations, don't jump your ass on that reparations commission or reparations board and start speaking down on the money that is owed to us. Just stay out the way. Stay out the way, Mbuku. We understand you trying to get some bread for your family. We understand you coming from an impoverished country. We understand you trying to feed your people back home, but just stay out the way. Stay out the way. We ain't never told you niggas to be frontline when it's wartime. What is this man talking about? Because we know y'all ain't built like that.
They said Black Americans are not interested in assimilating to whiteness. So a lot African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants, Asian immigrants, Latin, Hispanic immigrants, a lot of them want to assimilate and believe assimilation into the power structure of whiteness is the thing to do. Whereas for the most part, Black Americans have rejected it, which is part of the anti-culture that it produces a lot of times in contradistinction to what mainstream America wants to utilize as the standard. And the reason I bring that up is because white supremacy, European colonialism is all about preserving the idea that those who are white people or pale people from Europe is the standard. Anything that challenges that is out the window. So immigration has always been about policing Black and brown people, as they say.
They are tabling a resolution in the United Nations to declare the transatlantic slave trade the worst atrocity in human history. So Ghana has tabled a motion in the UN where they're saying, declare this the worst atrocity that never happened. And because this happened, you took our people, you prospered, and you were able to build your nation off of my people's labor, not my labor, but the people I sold to you. You owe me reparations because of that talent we lost. So Ghana is admitting to human trafficking and says, yeah, we sold these folks, but you owe us reparations for these folks we sold you because they went through slavery. All right. You're trying to get our people over there so you can replace them with your people and then using my people's struggles. Okay, let's say we did come from you. You didn't go through that. I'm just like, wow, all of y'all need to go and go forever, never return.
Criminals. Madam President, the slave trade must be recognized as the greatest crime against humanity. As the African champion on reparations, Ghana intends to introduce a motion in this August body to that effect. More than 12.5 million Africans were forcibly taken against their will and transported to create wealth for the powerful Western nations. We must demand reparations for the enslavement of our people and the colonization of our land that resulted in the theft of our natural resources, as well as the looting of artifacts and other items of cultural heritage that have yet to be returned in total. We recognize the value of our land and the value of our lives, as did our colonizers, as well as the governments that happily paid reparations to former slave owners as compensation for the loss of their property in quotes, and that property for which they received compensation was paid referred to
Self-advocacy. The movement seeks to carve out specific political and cultural space, focusing advocacy on the specific needs and experiences of this group. Distinction from other groups. It distinguishes FBAZ/ADOS from Black immigrants from Africa, the Caribbean, and other regions who have different historical contexts.
I do not see myself as a Brit. And the reason I say no, let me be clear about what I mean by that. My career has been birthed and nurtured in America. I'm very clear that had that not happened, you and I would not be having this conversation. So I have to give fealty to that. I have to. Having said that, I was born in Lewisham Hospital. And my mom, my family's from Jamaica.
And this is how these African British actors are. They flee the UK to come over here and take advantage of Black Americans fight against being typecast. Remember all those negative stereotype roles that they used to only cast Black Americans for? Black Americans fought against the film industry not to be typecast like that anymore. And now these opportunities are available. But instead of the African British fighting their film industry, they flee. Idris is a prime example. He gained so much money and influence off of Black American roles, and instead of going back to the UK and fight their film industry from typecasting African British actors, he flees to Africa and open up a film production company. And he could get roles in the UK where he's not typecast. But the other African British actors, they don't have the same opportunities that Idris have in the UK. And instead of him fighting against the film industry in the UK, he hushed. Because this is what these people do. They flee and they go to other countries, to the United States, where Black Americans already fought that fight, and take advantage why there's another Black American actor out there that's not able to take advantage of what their ancestors fought for, or the Black American people before us fought for. And have y'all noticed when it comes to all these opportunities that Black Americans fought for, it's only a one-way street. We can't go to Africa and come up. We can't go to the UK and come up. But all of them come over here and take advantage of the sacrifices that Black Americans made. Now, if it was reciprocated, no problem, but it's never reciprocated.
The delineation movement is a social and identity movement primarily among Black Americans, especially foundational Black Americans, FBAZ/American, descendants of slavery, ADOS, aiming to define and separate their unique ancestry, history of U.S. bondage, slavery, Jim Crow, and cultural experiences from other Black diaspora groups, African, Caribbean, etc., to better advocate for specific rights, reparations, and recognition, emphasizing that distinct histories warrant distinct claims for justice.
Roland Martin attempts to call out the Black American community for not being outside protesting, and it turns into a tether roll call. Check this out.
So it's like, if y'all want to play the game of trying to be vehemently anti-immigrant like the white folks, all you're doing is hurting yourself. Absolutely. And trust me, they're going to be real mad. I just said that. So they're going to cover all the videos, but they can all kiss my ass. Go ahead.
But certainly when you think about also the children, people like myself who are born of Black folks born outside, now all of a sudden you get to 1 in every 5 Black people being either a foreign-born Black person or a child of a foreign-born Black person. That does not include my son. Shout out to him. He turned 30 yesterday. And so now you have a 3rd generation of folks, right?
No, hold on. I want to stay right there. This is when you're stuck on stupid and you don't pay attention. So I'm just going to, so you take Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General. Barbados. You take Colin Powell. You take Shirley Chisholm. I can go Stokely Carmichael. I can go Harry Belafonte. I can name a whole host of folk today that when you start, Wes Moore, governor of Maryland. So, and they love yelling tethers. So the number you just gave, so what you're saying is that 20% of African Americans are children of Black immigrants.
I wonder why Roland Martin did not include himself in this tether roll call, because he is Haitian. He's a Haitian. He did not include himself with the rest of his Black immigrant family. But you're telling me 1 out of every 5 Black people in America is immigrants, and that y'all make up 20% of the Black community, of the Black population. That's more than enough numbers for y'all to be outside. How come Roland Martin is not rolling outside? How come he's in his studio or whatever that setup is, just talking? All lip service, right? All lip service. We are Roland Martin. That's my new movement. We inside, we Roland Martin. We inside.
We're gonna arrest 500 people. It's gonna be sick. Hear that?
If I'm laying on the ground and they're beating me, are your cameras on?
Yes, it is. Yeah. It won't happen.
But I can't continue my study.
That's the unicorn riot guy. Where? I mean, they gotta arrest all these people, I guess, so.
Sit down and shut your vehicles off. You are all under arrest.
You round up clutch cuffs from your guys for those troopers?
So I think you can start a arrest. I love all their reasons. They spew out.
Sit down. You are under arrest. Shut your vehicles off.
Yep, have sticks out right away.
I don't know the rules anymore.
I can. So I would assume they're getting ready to start throwing shit.
1281 saw it. They thought it was
They resist.
Squirt our guys?
Squirt serves?
Yeah, don't fight them.
Akima just turned on her car. If that fucking car starts coming at you guys, get the fuck out of the way.
Okay, get out of the way, we'll mark it. The State Patrol likes to shoot 40s at cars. They are trained professionals. I am a big fan. Big fan. Libby Fountain,
Working van is here.
Why don't we snatch it right now? We came on Levy Pound, we over on here. So we came out here 5 hours early to make sure nobody can get on the highway. And they get on the highway immediately. And now we're going to be here late. And I won't be able to eat. That sums it up, officer. I'm done with this fucking job.
You are all under arrest. Down now.
I'm so fucking hungry right now.
Good, boss?
Bored already.
Probably, maybe the most hungry I've ever had.
Yeah, you know the least arguments against pulling those out. You know reasons why you shouldn't pull out your personal phone with us. Because people decide to sue us, they can subpoena you and take your phone.
They don't know.
Okay, I know. Just making sure you're doing that. That's all. I don't want anyone getting in any trouble. All right, cool.
Well, he's been out on all the stuff. Static here too. Well, Static never did that, but Hutch does that. You got away with Market.
Yep.
You know who the driver is.
I don't care.
Yep.
Done nothing. They will kill me if you let this happen. They will kill me if you let this happen. Stop taking pictures and save my life now. Help me! I am going home. Stop! Stop! I will not! I have done nothing wrong! They will kill me!
Hey, I know y'all ain't waiting on this black folks to get out in these streets and fight the battle for y'all. I just know y'all ain't waiting on us y'all in these streets and fight these battles for y'all. Y'all better go on out there, take your white buzz out there and do what you need to do now. And hurry up, because y'all taking too damn long for me. Too damn long if you ask me. Get hurry. That man taking up everything. He fucking up everything because y'all scared. Hurry up. Shit.
Amanda Seales said just because she light-skinned and smart, she belong inside the house. Yeah, they asked her why she's not outside protesting. She said, I'm light-skinned and I'm smart. I belong inside the house. The rest of y'all dumbasses belong out there to be pew-pew bags.
I need people to stop telling me, well, why don't you go outside? That's not my role. There's people who are outside who actually can't do what I do inside. And there is a support that happens. That's what coalition building is, between folks who are outside and inside and folks who do both. There are artists and intellects and scholars who do not need to be in the outside of things. We may not be the most effective there. We might be in the way there. However, we support that work. We are buttressing that work. We are bullhorning that work in ways that work cannot be done. And if in your mind it's, well, they're putting their lives in danger and you're not. Trust me, they will come and knock on your door. I hope this helps. Annoying as hell.
Can somebody tell Amanda Seales this is not the 1800s? Everybody could be inside now. Everybody could be a house Negro. You know what I'm saying? And why they come with jingles? Why all of them come with jingles? First it was him.
Safe line repair, safe line replace.
Now it's her. They all got jingles. I got a jingle too. While we all inside, I got a jingle.
Non-Americans and foreign-born individuals in the U.S. hold mixed views, ranging from respect for the historical struggle of foundational Black Americans FBA to tension with some, particularly in immigrant communities, criticized for adopting or operating under existing anti-Black American biases. Some perspectives argue that FBA communities are often treated as a permanent underclass due to structural U.S. laws leading to friction with newer foreign-born groups.
Speaking of moving underneath the feet of the parties, you want to talk about policy. And so I want to just play quickly what you said about reparations.
Dr. King said at the tail end of his life, he said, we're going to Washington to get our check. You understand? So now, what is your position on reparations?
Thank you.
Oh, I remember this.
Thank you. You can only find one answer. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't believe in reparations. I don't. Well, then you don't believe in the Black community.
So you don't believe in reparations?
Oh, wow. Why did y'all play the rest of the clip, man? I was on fire during that one.
No,
Because, Byron, I think it's important for people to get your yays and nays, just like you have to do on the House floor. You have to take a up or down vote on an issue. You took a down vote on this, and you haven't supported HR 40. So if you want to talk about the complexities of reparations, whether or not there should be a study in this country, you again have said that this country is not racist, and even though it has a dark past, it doesn't sound like you think it has a dark present. You have not sponsored that bill. You haven't co-sponsored that bill. Why not?
Well, a couple things. One, that's why I wish you played the clip, because I actually went into all the detail, but I will. A couple things is, all right, how many people in the United States today are actually descendants of slave owners? Forget descendants of slaves. Let's hold that to the side. Descendants of slave owners. You've had massive immigration into the United States over the last 150 years. So now you're going to say that people who immigrated to the United States, who are not descendants of slave owners, were not descendants of that trade, now they're going to be responsible for paying that out going forward. My mother's Jamaican. My father's Panamanian. You have a lot of Black people in this country who are not descendants of the American slave trade. So I already know off top, there's a lot of Black people in America who aren't going to be able to get that kind of benefit or get reparations.
Well, most people who are for reparations, they feel like it should go to what they call foundational Black Americans anyway.
And I agree with that point. I agree with that point. But I'm just saying, I'm just laying out, these are the reasons for why I'm no. So
So
now
you do support reparations for what Leonard just deemed as, quote, foundational Black Americans?
No, I don't.
No.
But I want to explain
Okay.
that. I want to explain that. And so that's why you have a lot of people saying, okay, well, then what are we going to do? And so my view is that what you do going forward is this is why you have to have wholesale changes in economic, medical policy, et cetera, so that the ability to access various parts of our economy and grow in our economy work for everybody, including people in our country who are, quote unquote, foundationally Black.
You are a representative of the FBI. Every single person that I see that makes reference to FBA, Foundational Black Americans, you are.
You see everybody's getting mad that we're claiming to be foundational Black Americans. You know why they're getting mad? Because none of these groups have any intentions on you being self-sufficient. All of these Afro-Indigenous groups, all of these immigrant groups, all of them build their communities off of your back. How do you think that they're building these businesses in your communities? Okay? They don't want you to know your power. It's not the white man. It is these Afro-Indigenous groups that you think are your allies because they look like you. Okay? So all foundational Black Americans, keep doing what you're doing, keep delineating, keep letting them know that we don't want to be coerced, keep thinking for yourself. That's what they're mad about. We're thinking for ourselves. We're claiming our own sovereign identity as Americans, not Black Americans, but as Americans, because it's America first. And I'm spitting. I mean it.
Tribalism in Africa, often manifesting as preferential treatment based on ethnic, clan, or linguistic lines, acts as a significant barrier to national unity, economic development, and democratic consolidation. Rooted partly in colonial era policies that created artificial borders, this phenomenon frequently leads to political manipulation, resource competition, and conflict.
Why the Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust is better positioned to protect freedmen than legacy organizations. For decades, legacy civil rights and advocacy organizations have spoken about freedmen. Far fewer have been structurally capable of protecting freedmen as a distinct harmed population with enforceable rights, assets, and standing. The Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust, FRFT, was created to solve that exact failure. This is not a criticism of history. It is an acknowledgement of structural limits. The structural problem with legacy organizations. Many older organizations, such as the CP, National Urban League, and others, formed during the 20th century, were built to advocate broadly for civil rights within a race-based framework. That model made sense in an era when the law itself enforced racial exclusion. But today, those same structures face serious limitations. Race-based frameworks are legally vulnerable under modern constitutional scrutiny. Nonprofit advocacy models lack enforcement power over identity, assets, and misclassification. Open membership systems allow dilution, co-optation, and narrative drift. No beneficiary governance exists, meaning the harmed class does not actually control the institution. As a result, legacy organizations can speak, lobby, and publish, but they cannot protect. What makes the Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust different? The Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust is not a nonprofit, a coalition, or a political organization. It is a private trust structure designed specifically to protect a defined harmed class, freedmen. That difference changes everything. 1. Status protection, not race advocacy. FRFT does not rely on race-based classification. Instead, it operates on status protection grounded in historical harm, documentation, and verification. This allows the trust to function within U.S. trust law and constitutional boundaries while maintaining clarity over who is and is not covered. Legacy organizations cannot do this because their frameworks are intentionally broad. 2. Verified beneficiary class. The trust establishes a verified beneficiary class, not a symbolic constituency. Verification is not ideological, it is administrative. This prevents identity hijacking, narrative substitution, unauthorized representation, external governance claims over freedmen history or assets. Older organizations lack both the authority and infrastructure to do this. 3. Fiduciary duty and legal standing. Trust law imposes fiduciary duties legacy advocacy groups do not carry. FRFT administrators are legally bound to act in the best interest of the beneficiary class. This enables the trust to challenge misrepresentation, enforce naming and cultural protections, respond institutionally to fraud or dilution. Hold assets on behalf of freedmen advocacy alone cannot accomplish this. 4. Asset-based protection, not just speech. Legacy organizations primarily engage in speech, statements, reports, panels, and campaigns. The trust engages in asset-based protection, including cultural and historical assets, economic interests, land and property interests, intellectual and symbolic assets. Protection without asset control is temporary. FRFT was designed for permanence. 5. Independence from political cycles. Because the trust is not dependent on elections, donors with ideological agendas, or government appropriations, it can operate consistently and independently. Legacy organizations must constantly adjust messaging to survive funding and political shifts. The trust does not. Why this matters now. As reparations discussions expand globally, freedmen face a new risk: being absorbed, redefined, or erased within broader diaspora or race-based narratives. Many legacy organizations, intentionally or not, enable this by lacking structural boundaries. The Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust exists to draw those boundaries, lawfully, administratively, and permanently. Conclusion: legacy organizations played an important role in history, but history has changed, and so has the legal landscape. Protecting freedmen today requires more than advocacy. It requires legal structure, verified status, fiduciary governance, asset control, institutional continuity. That is why the Freedmen Reparations Fund Trust is not a replacement for legacy organizations. It is the next necessary evolution in protecting freedmen as a distinct, harmed, and self-governing people.
You're a murderer, Nino! I've seen you kill too many people, Nino!
Cancel that bitch. I'll buy it now.